Today, I'm going to share something that honestly blew my mind. Imagine having the power to identify the perfect role for your next hire, prepare a seamless hiring funnel, filter candidates with precision, onboard them, and train them effortlessly, all with the help of AI. This isn't about a few generic prompts you'll never use. This is a detailed guide on leveraging AI in your business. Integrating AI in our processes has become absolutely essential, and building a team is no exception. In this video, we'll dive into how AI can revolutionize your hiring process, saving you time, reducing stress, and helping you focus on what truly matters. Let's dive in. If you are new, welcome. My name is Michael. We scaled and sold an 8-figure brand, and this is where I show you everything I've learned about business. Today, we have an exciting topic. We are going to talk about AI. And if you are like me, I've been using AI since its launch. It became an integral part of my everyday workflow. So naturally, I wanted to learn how to leverage, how to utilize this tool. So I bought a few courses and I spent a lot of time experimenting. But every now and then I see someone using AI in a completely new way, in a way I haven't really thought of before. And this is what this video is about. We are going to talk about building a team, but I really want you to see the ways we can actually use AI, because of course you can then leverage this in your own business, not just while building a team. Because at the end of the day, the AI is a tool, and really the quality of the output depends on the quality of the input. It depends on the quality of our prompts. And what people often forget, and I made the same mistake, is actually not really providing enough context to the AI. So what I want to show you today is how to build your prompts as Legos, to basically provide all of the context necessary to the AI before sharing the actual prompt, so it can consider our situation, it can consider our personal life, it can consider our business in order to give very specific output as a potential consultant would. You need to share everything relevant to you and your business. So let's begin with what I call memory prompts. These prompts really provide the context necessary. So in terms of hiring, of course, we want to build a prompt that explains our business, right? So the first piece of the puzzle, the first Lego, is explaining the business model. So we want to explain that our business follows the Amazon FBA private label model. So we explain the systems in the business, product development, supply and inventory management, operations, marketing, and customer service. Really simply explain what is the business about and how it creates value. And of course, let's say if you drive external traffic, if you work with influencers, everything should be here. So we provide the context, we explain what our business is about. Then another piece of the puzzle would be talking about our brand. What is the name of the brand? Here I have a simple example. What is our mission? What is our tagline, right? We will be sharing this every time it is relevant for a specific prompt. Then we want to talk about the audience, right? If we want to then hire someone, let's say a brand manager, graphic designer, copywriter, anyone where the audience is relevant, we want to include that into the prompt when we actually build the final prompt. So we have the audience. Then I also like to include my personality, because if I'm going to hire someone, I will be working with them. So I want to make sure that they are a good match for my personality. And here I use the 16 personalities test. I mentioned it many times before in my videos. I'm the architect, right? So I included here my own personality type, a summary of my personality, so the AI can then help me find someone who is a good match. Likely I will become a manager, right? I will be directly working with this person. So I want to make sure that it will work out well for both of us, right? Very important. And then the core prompt. In this case, we are going to be building a team. So we want the AI to act as our HR manager with 20 years of experience. Your goal is to help me throughout the entire recruitment process, right? It includes finding, attracting, filtering, and evaluating candidates, right? So we really want to give the AI the prompt that they are the HR manager, right? We explain what the business is about, our brand, about me, and now we have the core prompt. And now in terms of hiring, I already prepared a template for the job description, right? So the AI will help us fill all of this, right? Very simple. It will work with the business model. It will work with our current situation, and it will basically help us fill this to really understand what we are looking for, right? From the position details, accountability, qualifications, and a personality match for our personality. And I will share all of these prompts in the link below, so don't worry about it. But now our goal is to actually begin working with the AI to figure out how to build a team and who is the next role to hire. So if I go back here and look at the brainstorm, the first step is to actually clarify the accountability, because this is often a big problem, that we know that there are a few things we want to delegate, right? I want to delegate shipment creation. I want to delegate managing freight forwarders, managing POs, and all of that stuff. But I don't really know what the role should be about, right? I don't want to delegate just these three things. I don't have really good idea of what the actual role should be, right? So we will begin with actually clarifying the accountability, right? Because we begin with the idea that we want to delegate these three things, but of course that's not all of it. Now we want to get a better idea of what the whole role could look like. Once we bring a person with the ability and the skills required to handle these few things we want to delegate, what else they could do, what the position would be called, right? And all of these things. Here we have the defining the accountability, right? So once again, very relevant to include the piece of the puzzle is the business model, right? So from my memory prompts, I would copy what our business model is, because here the AI will help me define what the role should be about based on the business model, right? Giving him the context. Then the core prompt, again, act as my HR manager with 20 years of experience, perfect. And here we start clarifying what the role should be about, right? We have 3 different prompts. So what I will do now is I will copy this into ChatGPT to help me clarify what the position will be about. So I'm planning to hire a new employee for my business. I'm currently brainstorming what the role could look like in terms of position details, accountability, and qualifications. My main objective is to delegate the following day-to-day tasks, right? As I said, maybe we have just a basic idea of what we want to delegate. So we ask the AI to help us clarify the job description, consider our objective, right? My main objective is to delegate the following, and our business model. In the prompt, we are always referring back to the puzzle pieces, right? The business model, the core prompt, and other pieces that we put together. And of course, what would be the position name of this role? Give me 3 ideas. So now I will just copy this into ChatGPT. And here I will just fill in what I actually want to delegate, right? So let's say managing freight forwarders, managing purchase orders, creating purchase orders, working with suppliers, creating shipping labels, creating shipping plans, right? You get the idea. You probably have a list of these things that you know you should probably delegate, but you don't have a clear idea what the role could be about, right? So now I will send the prompt. As you can see, the prompts will become pretty long, but it is extremely helpful to actually give the context, because now the AI will give us the details, right? It will talk about the accountability and qualifications, but for now, we ask the AI to give us the name, what we should call this role. And then we will work with that, because it already considers in the context of the business model, which is extremely useful, right? So some of these are a bit too complex. So I like the supply chain coordinator, or it can be supply chain manager. It doesn't really matter right here. So now we will go back to our database and we will take a look at prompt number 2. What are some other day-to-day tasks and key responsibilities this role could handle? We also defined what key responsibilities are: detailed list of main responsibilities and duties, and day-to-day tasks, detailed list of daily tasks and activities the employee will engage in, right? And we can keep it now in the same conversation with the AI. So I will paste it here, and now I will start getting idea, what else could I delegate to this person, right? Because before I had like a rough idea what I want to delegate, but now it will give me more ideas. I will see some things that I have not realized before. This person will have a specific skill set. The AI already knows because it knows who the supply chain coordinator should be, and it will tell us what are the other responsibilities, right? So we'll start clarifying this specific role, right? So we see supplier management, inventory management, logistics coordination, order processing, data analysis. Very nice, right? Analyze sales and inventory data to forecast. So suddenly we have inventory planning, which we haven't talked about, right? Here we just mentioned that we want working with suppliers, managing purchase orders, and suddenly it knows that this person should also handle inventory management. Perfect. Order processing, data analysis, right? Generate and present regular reports on key performance indicators. We will get to KPIs as well, including inventory levels, right? So I would now go through this and filter this out, what is relevant, because not all the time, not 100% will be relevant. Maybe some of these things we want to keep doing that. Maybe some of these things are not relevant to our business because, of course, the context we give is still quite limited, but this is perfect, right? Key responsibilities, amazing. I will definitely use it. I will drop some of these out, but 90%, 80% of this, I'm already understanding what the role could do. Because when I spend the time of actually hiring someone with this skill set, it would be a pity not to give them other stuff that they could be doing, right? And the AI is here to tell us what this person could do. Now, day-to-day tasks, right? Managing freight forwarders, purchase orders, create and issue purchase orders. Like, once again, perfect. What a regular day would look like for this supply chain coordinator. Once again, very nice. This will then help us to understand what the training should look like, what the job ad should look like. We will cover everything in this video. So, now the last step, the last prompt is what are the main qualifications. Here, not everything will be relevant, but once again, it is very useful to copy paste it here and see what AI thinks what the qualifications should be, right? Minimum 3 to 5 years of experience. It's very nice, right? Because we need someone who will be taking care of these integral processes of the business. So we definitely need someone with experience. I 100% agree with that. Experience within the e-commerce industry, specifically with Amazon FBA processes, is highly desirable. He has proven track record of managing supplier relations. Technical skills, we don't necessarily need to consider these here, where we will include our own software, or maybe Excel, right? Ability to analyze data using tools like Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, once again. So I would remove some of these. They are not relevant. But once again, 80% of this, highly relevant. And now this is perfect. Soft skills. Communication, teamwork, problem solving, negotiation skills, right? The AI knows that this person is going to negotiate with suppliers on pricing, maybe reaching out to new suppliers, getting quotes, so it knows negotiation skills. Perfect. Because it also helps us to see what this role could be in the future, right? Because we may start by onboarding them and delegating just a few things, but ideally we want this person to stay on board for the long run, and all of these things will be highly desirable. And preferred qualifications, right? Once again, we would probably remove some of these, but it will give us the idea and we can start clarifying the role. And actually, I took the time before recording this to filter all of this and prepare the job description right here, right? So I already filtered it. I removed like 20% of the things that the AI suggested. And now I can actually finish the job description, because this will become another piece of the puzzle we then include in our prompt. Once we go to the other steps, which is the preparation, the hiring, we will have a document, piece of the puzzle called job description, which we include in our prompt. So our prompt will get longer and longer. We provide more and more context to get more and more specifics from the AI, right? We don't want just a general garbage that you will get by asking simple sentence, who should I hire next, right? So team information, we would fill in about the position, who they will be working with, reporting structure. So maybe team information, it is just me. So let's say I will delete this reporting structure. This person reports directly to the owner of the business. Employment time, we are looking for a full-time role. Location, right? We are hiring remote. And the salary will be per hour, let's say 12 to 14 USD, right? So, of course, AI doesn't really have to advise us on this. If you are not sure, if you maybe want to hire in-house, you want to have an office, you can ask the pros and cons. But here I'm just working with the assumption that you are building a remote team. So I will go full-time, remote, salary, right? And I already filled in the key responsibilities, right? So I just took everything that the AI summarized and I removed like 20%. Here, day-to-day tasks, right? So just clarifying the role, what the supply chain coordinator will do, what are the key responsibilities, day-to-day tasks, and some long-term projects and goals now. Description of any long-term projects. So let's say we want to expand to Europe. We are currently selling only in the US marketplace, right? So we want to expand to Europe. So this will be a long-term project and we want this person to lead the expansion, right? So establish new supply chain to Europe. Nice. Qualifications, required experience. I already filled this in. So as I said, proficiency in data analysis tools and software, shipping and logistics platforms. Very nice. Amazon Star Central, of course. Soft skills, as I mentioned, very useful because once again, we will be working with this later and the AI will be preparing a questionnaire, skill test. So it needs to consider everything that is desirable for this role. So now we are preparing the big piece of the prompt. Preferred qualifications. Now, personality. A lot of people skip this, and I believe that you will spend a lot of time interacting with your team, right? You want this to be a nice synergy, and sometimes it just doesn't work, mainly because of your personalities, right? So I highly recommend you to take the 16 personalities test, figure out what personality you are, so you can then ask the AI about the personality match, right? So in this case, when I want to figure out what's the optimal personality, of course I need to provide the context. So I will share my personality. I'm the architect. I thrive on solitary activities, deep reflection. Like that's me. Now core prompt, again, act as my HR manager. That's the same. And the prompt here is I'm planning to hire a new employee that I will be managing directly. Very important. I will be directly interacting with this person. This person is going to be hired for a role that is described in the attached document, job description, right? As I said, we are now working on it. It will be attached to the prompts once we have that. Please summarize the ideal personality of this person that would match the job description as well as my personality, right? So consider the following: temperament, emotional characters, social traits. Also suggest the optimal, this is the 16 personalities test. And lastly, list the ones that would not be a good fit, right? And if I'm hiring someone, I often ask them to take the test so I can see. I'm not saying this is necessarily a big red flag, but you will see that the AI will explain what the dynamic of that will look like if you are manager with this personality type and the person is an employee, because sometimes there is just not a good match. So what I will do now is I will take this job description, which I pretty much finalized, right? And I will copy it into a separate file, which I will be then adding into the AI, and the AI will read it and work with that because we don't want the actual text prompt to be too long. So it's easier to include it as a file. So let me now hop in the file. So now I copy pasted the job description into a separate file, and I will go back to ChatGPT. So here I simply copy the prompt and then I will upload the file. So we have the job description file and the prompt, and let's see what the AI thinks about the ideal personality for me, right? This is me specifically for my personality type. So this may not be the same for you. Right? So we are looking at some of the ideal personality for the supply chain coordinator role, right? And we can choose optimal personality type, and that would not be a good fit. And it also explains why, right? Often driven by spontaneity, social interactions, right? So I can already see and get a rough idea what would be a good alignment. It is worthwhile to read this. We don't have to copy all of this into our file, but it's worthwhile to understand because sometimes it just doesn't work with someone and we don't know why. This will tell you why, right? And so I want to copy these what the optimal one will be, and I will put it back into the job description. And now we've finished the job description. We have the position name, we have the accountability, we have the qualifications, and we have the personality. So we can proceed to the next step, right? Now we are still brainstorming what the role would be about. And key performance indicators. People often ask, what KPIs should I set, right? I want to track something. I want to make sure that my employee is doing well. I want to manage them. I want to optimize their performance. I want to give them bonuses based on their performance. But what kind of KPIs should I set, right? What is quantifiable? What I can actually track? Once again, now we have the role, we have the job description, and we ask AI for some suggestions what the KPIs for this role specifically could be. So once again, I need a business model, right? I'm putting together the final prompt. I'm putting together all of the Lego pieces. So we have the core prompt, and here we have the prompt for the KPIs. I want to define a set of relevant KPIs for the job description. Once again, like referring back to the document from the attached document. The purpose of this is to define what success looks like, right? Here we are just explaining what we mean by KPIs. Because again, maybe our definition is slightly different, right, from what the AI could think. So I want to provide the context. So use the following structure for each KPI: objective, target, metrics, actions, timeline, reporting, feedback. Work with the business model and accountability of the position from the job description document, right? KPIs should follow the SMART framework. So let's put it into AI and let's see what we will get out of it. And I'm doing this live, so I also don't know what the AI will suggest. So maybe there will be nothing we can actually use. But I tried it a few times before. I did it for some other roles I was hiring, and it worked very well. So let's see. So now we have the prompt here, and we included the job description as the file, and we will see what the AI will come with. As you can see, the prompt is getting very long, right? Business core prompt, then the specific prompt, then we have the document. But once again, we are providing so much context that it is extremely helpful for the AI to then give us specific results, right? Something we can actually use. This is not something random. It really works with our business. So KPI, develop, maintain strong relationship with supplier, achieve satisfaction score. This is not easy to implement, right, for a small business. So I would not consider this one. Again, we want to see some ideas. It doesn't mean that we necessarily need to implement everything we get out of the AI. And as I said, I'm doing this live now, and this one is not great, right? So let's take a look at the other one. Ensure optimal stock levels to prevent stockouts and overstock situations. Very good. We definitely need that one. So let's take a look what the target would be. 10% of the forecasted demand. Metrics: stockout incidents, overstock percentage, and inventory turnover rate, right? We can simplify this one a bit, but we can definitely use this one. Order processing efficiency, this would not be relevant. Logistics coordination, ensure timely and cost-effective shipment of products to fulfillment center. Data analysis and reporting. Right? Provide actionable insights that lead to 5% of supply cost within 1 year. That's also interesting, right? We can implement something like this, so we incentivize the supply chain coordinator. Here, I would maybe change it specifically for freight forwarders. So we incentivize the supply chain coordinator to work with as many freight forwarders as possible, always get multiple quotes, and work with the best offer. Because if they do that, it will be more than 5%, right? Because if they are lazy, they will just get 1-2 quotes, and you won't get these savings. So maybe I would even specify it. But as you can see, it also provides instructions what the actions should be, conduct monthly data analysis, what the timeline should be, what the system of reporting, like monthly reports on supply chain performance and cost savings, right? So I would ask provide 5 more, so we can see a few more. Compliance with Amazon requirements, yes, this is also important. Of course, we want it to be within control of that particular person, so we don't want to give them a KPI that they don't really have under control. But this is also the optimal structure of the KPI, right? Objective, what is the target, right? Objective, target, what are the metrics we are going to track, right? What are we trying to quantify? What are the actions we will take in order to achieve the objective? What is the timeline, right? Sometimes it will be monthly, sometimes it will be annual goal, what will be the reporting, how we will be sharing feedback, right? Quarterly review meetings, supplier performance, right? Achieve supplier performance score, right? So it really helps you to come up with metrics. I wouldn't overdo it. We don't want like 5 KPIs for one person. Ideally, I would try to narrow it down to 1, 2, maybe 3, so we know what truly matters. Because if you track everything at the same time, it's very hard to communicate to that person that that's the one thing that actually matters, right? So here we would take some of these KPIs and write it down into our document. Now we finished the brainstorm. We have the job description. We have looked at the KPIs, and now it's time to prepare for the hiring, right? We will talk about job ad, questionnaire, skill test, and interview. And once again, the AI will help us with all of this. So let's take a look at it. Job ad, the same thing. We are sharing the business model. In this case, we want to share the brand because, of course, we want to attract someone who is interested in this particular brand, right? We really want to attract someone who will become part of the brand of the team. Of course, it matters a bit more if we are hiring like a marketing or brand manager for the supply chain manager. It doesn't really matter that much, but this should be mentioned in the job ad. We want the job ad to attract talent. And if it's just some random ad, the good people are not going to react. We want to share our brand and be transparent that these people will actually become part of our mission, right? Very important. Our audience, core prompt, and once again, the prompt for the actual job ad. We want the AI to write a job ad using a compelling blend of clarity, appeal. It opens with an engaging introduction to the role and the company, providing a snapshot of the organization's mission, culture, and values, right? This is the structure, the perfect job ad structure. And once again, in this prompt, we are referring back to the business model, to the job description. So the logic is the same, right? We build the puzzle, and now we are just referring to the different parts because we really want the AI to consider all of this in order to create the perfect job ad. And end of the job ad with a clear call to action to click a link and fill in a short questionnaire and submit a resume. So we will copy this and we will plug it again into ChatGPT and include the job description file. So now we will see how the AI will write our job ad, considering all of this, right? Considering the actual job, considering our business model, brand, audience, the core prompt, and what we actually wanted to do to write the job ad following this structure. Overview, right? To join the Canvas Spa, this remote full-time role involves managing supplier relations. So it did a good job following the structure, right? We have some overview. We are missing the headline, so I will ask it to write the headline. But other than that, it followed the structure perfectly, right? We have the responsibilities, simple, summarize. We can then ask maybe to summarize some of these because I don't really think it's a good idea to list all of these soft skills like this. Benefits, remote work flexibly, application instruction. Please write the headline for instructions. See, so now it actually wrote a good headline for that particular job ad. And as I said, it's important to actually share the mission because here help us inspire creativity and peace through art, which is the mission I wrote for this particular brand, for this particular example. So now I would copy it. It's pretty much good to go. I would make a few changes here, but now I have the job ad that perfectly reflects everything I need. The next step will be the questionnaire. We talked about this in one of our previous videos, how we actually hire. We build the hiring funnel, right? The job ad at the top, attracting as many relevant candidates as possible, and then filtering them out efficiently. First through questionnaire, then skill test, then interview. Once again, AI will help us do all of this. So the prompt, business model, very important, core prompt, and then the prompt. Write a questionnaire that will help us quickly evaluate and filter out candidates for the job description from the attached document. We want to evaluate whether the candidate is a good fit for the job description, specifically the accountability and qualifications. The questionnaire should follow this structure: basic information, screenings questions, skill assessment, behavioral and situational questions, and then motivational questions. So it should be brief and easy to complete, ideally within 20 minutes, right? No one's gonna fill in questionnaire that takes an hour. So let's put it into ChatGPT. And even in this example, we have to review this, remove some of the questions, maybe make some adjustments. But as I said, this saves so much time. I would estimate around 80% of my time is saved by actually following this process instead of building it from scratch. And of course, the most exciting part comes when we get to filtering the candidates, right? Where we use the AI to review the answers, to review the interviews, and give us advice who to hire. But we will get to it. So let's take a look. Based on the provided job description, here's the questionnaire. Basic information, perfect. Screening questions. That's basically asking the basic questions from the requirements. That then we have the assessment. And actually, it does a good job in some of these questions, that it avoids the possibility that someone will use AI to answer this question, right? Describe a time when you develop and maintain strong relationship with the supplier. What strategies did you use to negotiate contracts and terms, right? So we are asking specifically looking back. We are not trying, how would you do that? We're asking how you did that. Of course, they can still fake it with AI, some of these questions, but it really works in a smart way because nowadays, everyone will use that to answer your questionnaire. So we want to be smart about it and include questions that actually make it harder to answer it with AI. Explain your experience in coordinating with freight forwarders for shipment planning and execution. How do you monitor inventory levels and forecast demand to prevent stockouts and overstock situation? Very good, right? That's everything we need from this particular role. Skill assessment, perfect. 5 straightforward questions. Each of them is considering different responsibility, right? This is communication with the suppliers, inventory forecasting, working with forwarders. So it really takes into account the whole spectrum, right? The whole role, right? It's not asking 5 questions about the same thing. Provide an example how you communicate with suppliers to confirm order details. How did you address any discrepancies or issues? Once again, behavioral and situational questions, very important. This is more open-ended, so it takes a bit more time to review, but we have AI to help us with that, so it will be simple. Attention to detail, organization. Also, these motivational questions. Why are you interested in the supply chain coordinator at our company? How does this position align with your career goals and aspirations? Once again, very important. And as I mentioned before, we will use the AI to actually review the questionnaires. So we can do that in bulk. We can upload 10, 20, 30 replies, and the AI will analyze them and give us the answer. But I will show you the prompt a bit later. So now we have a pretty good questionnaire. I will make a few adjustments. Of course, I'm not going to do it here in this video to waste your time. I actually want to show you how this whole thing works. So I did that before recording this and prepared the questionnaire. So let's go back and let's take a look at the next step, which would be the skill test, right? As I said, we are building the funnel. So if someone can pass the questionnaire, then we will send them a skill test. Once again, business model, core prompt, and we want to help us come up with the skill test to filter out candidates for the job description from the attached document. We want to evaluate whether the candidate is a good fit for the job description, specifically the accountability and qualifications. Should be specific assignment that reflects the actual task of the job description from the attached document. This assignment should allow the candidates to demonstrate a technical skill, problem solving, and practical knowledge in a realistic setting, right? The candidate should be able to finish the test within 2 to 3 hours. Once again, we don't want to send someone a job that they will spend 6-8 hours for us for free. So once again, we're gonna copy this into ChatGPT and upload the document. When I used to do this manually, I always had a hard time to actually come up with a good skill test, right? Because it's hard to come up with something that can be finished in like 2-3 hours and it truly reflects something they will be doing for your business. So let's take a look what the AI will come up with. So objective, evaluate ability to manage supplier relationship, coordinate logistics, manage inventory process orders, and analyze data effectively. Like we will give them scenario, assignment, what the deliverable would be. Right? You need to coordinate the shipment of 500 units to an Amazon fulfillment. The shipment needs to be delivered within 2 weeks. Obtain quotes for 2 freight forwarders, compare the quotes, and select the most cost-effective and timely option. Draft a brief report justifying your choice. Very smart. Inventory management task, order processing task, data analysis, and reporting task. So it really included the whole spectrum, right, of the accountability of this particular role. We're looking at the time frame, should be able to finish the test within 2 to 3 hours. Evaluation criteria. supply management, ability to identify, logistics coordination. So it also tells us what we should look for once we get the results, right? Attachments, we should provide sales data, what we need to provide so they can actually perform these tasks. Once again, I probably wouldn't include everything, but most of these are very good fit to test the skills of the particular candidate. Here, it's a bit harder for the AI to review the results. We can still do that, but we have to keep in mind that we filtered most of the candidates with the questionnaire. That's how we will filter them. And the skill test, that really comes down to like 5 candidates. So it's not really that much time to review that manually. And lastly, we have the interview. So once again, we follow the exact same thought process. We have the business model, a core prompt, and the prompt. We want from the AI questions to ask at the interview, right? We are about to conduct an interview. We want to ask about the accountability qualifications. The interview should follow this structure. Behavioral questions, technical, situational. The interview should be maximum of 60 minutes. So once again, exactly the same step. I will copy it back to ChatGPT and get the interview questions. And this is a perfect task for the AI. It will come up with great questions, following up on that questionnaire, following up on that skill test. Because when we ask them these questions on the interview, they can't really use AI, right, to come up with the answers. And it's really asking very good questions, right? Tell me about the challenging relationship you had with the supplier. How did you handle it? And what was the result? Then we have logistic coordination, inventory management, data analysis, and then asking the technical skill-based question, Amazon Sales Center. Explain your experience. How do you ensure compliance with FBA requirements and optimize product listings? I would remove this, right? That's not relevant for this role. But again, 80% really of this will be highly relevant, what questions to ask. So now we have the funnel pretty much ready, right? I will just review this, remove some of these, and have my funnel ready. So now the exciting part can begin, which is the hiring process and filtering the candidates. So the first one is to review their resumes. We can merge these two into one file with their questionnaire answers. I have not done that. I want to show you one by one. So the AI can actually review their CVs, right? So I prepared some templates, so I can actually plug that in, and you will see the results from the AI that it reviews their CVs, once again, for this particular role, looking at their accountability, looking at their qualification, considering everything we've told it so far about this role, and asking it to highlight the best candidate. So what I will do, I will copy this prompt into ChatGPT and include these resumes as attached documents. So as you can see, I can include many of those and now ask for the specifics, right? For the specific role. So we have the CVs of a few people and then our job description. And now the AI will summarize what was the job description and then evaluate the candidates. So we have candidate number 1 because we asked them to create an order of these from the best, right? So we see this one has 8 years of experience, specializing in Amazon FBA, weaknesses, non-significant, ranking number 1, best fit due to extensive experience, particularly with Amazon FBA. Then we have this one, 4 years of experience, ranking 2, excellent fit with strong Amazon FBA. Then this one, 2 years of experience, all the way down to see 5 years of experience as virtual assistant with skills in project management, customer service, but no specific experience in supply chain management. Skills and experience are not aligned with the job requirements, right? So best candidate, Michael Roberts in this example. I don't even have to read the CVs. I haven't really looked at it. And now I just plug it into AI and see what are the results. The exact same process goes for the questionnaire review. We have their questionnaires, the candidates fill in the questionnaires. We don't want to review dozens and dozens of them manually, so we can plug it back into AI. After all, the AI came up with the questions, right? So we can now send it back and ask who of these candidates had the best questions. And what you can really do is to merge the CV with the questionnaire, right? But in this case, I have not done that. And here we are just review the attached questionnaire from candidates for the job description. Very, very, very simple prompt. But since we have all of these puzzle pieces, we have the document, the job description, it really becomes easy. It really flows. It takes 1 hour to do all of this, and you really can go end to end, saving you approximately 80% of your time if you would do that manually. The same way we reviewed the CVs, now we are reviewing their questionnaires, right? So once again, we would copy and paste the files in here. The AI will summarize the supply chain coordinator position and then candidate evaluation, right? So it really summarizes their answers. So we don't have to read this whole questionnaire, all of these, what they typed in. The AI will summarize it here. And then at the end, we will get ranking and recommendation. Of course, I'm not going to read all of this, but as you can see, it doesn't really make sense to look at the CV only. We want to see the questionnaire as well. And here, ranking and recommendation, extensive experience, strong technical skills. And this is based on their answers. This is not based in the CV when the person wrote that he has strong technical skills. The AI read the answers from the questionnaire and then told me that he has them based on the quality of his answers, right? And I don't even have to read these long answers from the documents, right? So strengths, alignment, recommendation, Alex Johnson, analytic skills and motivation to learn, not recommended for the specific role due to insufficient experience and qualifications. Is the best Michael Roberts is the best candidate based on the required accountabilities, right? Very simple. I just saved myself a few hours of work. And now this is the fun part where we actually use AI to review the interview. Of course, we will do the interview, we will hop on the call, but what I recommend is to record the call and then get a transcript of the interview call, right? We will ask the questions the AI came up with, and then we will review the transcript, but we will ask the AI to do that. So we have the business model, my personality, because here we want to consider the personality because the AI can, based on the transcript, can analyze the personality of that person, right? So I'm including my personality here, the core prompt, and now we are able to make final decision to hire one of the candidates for the job description. Please review the attached transcripts. Help us rank and evaluate each candidate based on the required accountability, qualifications, and personality to match my personality. Highlight the best candidate. So the process is still the same. I have the prompt, I copy it to ChatGPT, and I have the files. In this case, the file is the transcript of an interview where you asked the specific question that the AI came up with a few minutes ago. Here we have the transcripts, we have the prompt, which we copy pasted in here, and now the AI will do its thing, looking at the job description and then candidate evaluation, right? It uses the transcription from the interview call, right? So the only thing we did, hop on the call, ask the questions the AI suggested to ask, then download the video, create the transcript, and copy paste back into the AI with all of the other candidates in order to get the result, right? So here we have the recommendation. Once again, it's the same guy, stands out as the best candidate, his extensive experience, proven track record, and proactive approach align closely with the job requirements and your personality, his ability to manage supplier relationships, optimize that. So you can see this is perfect. I don't have to think about it too much. Of course, we still want to trust our gut and make the decision based on what we feel, but it's very useful to have the AI act as the HR manager. The last step is the onboarding. Now we chose the final candidate, right? We know he's the best, so let's onboard him. We have a prompt to prepare the contract. We have a simple prompt to create a contract between our company and the employee, and the contract should include the following: scope of work, compensation, confidentiality. So I will copy it there and just include the file again. I just have to include my company name and then here the employee details. Very simple. Now we have the contract. Here we also want to mention that it is an independent contractor status, right? That it's basically working as a freelancer because it's, in this case, it won't be our employee, right? We still have a contractor agreement. Scope of work, it's including everything: compensation, right? I just uploaded the document, so I don't even have to mention these things. Confidentiality, entire agreement, and that's it. Very simple. Now I have the contract. And the next step, this is extremely important, the onboarding roadmap. Now we have this huge list of things they will be accountable for, but we want to do that step by step, right? We want to have some checklist because there will be some technical setup, there will be some the first week, the second week, and again, we have the AI that can help us do all of this. We have the job description, and we asked it to create the onboarding roadmap, right? This is some initial setup, and it really considers the complexity of these tasks. So it starts with the simple tasks and it moves to the more complex ones, right? So let's take a look, copy all of this and put it back into ChatGPT. I personally struggled with this, and I see people struggling while creating these onboarding roadmaps, right? Sometimes we just want to throw everything we want to delegate to them at once. That's not advised. Of course, it can be overwhelming for the person. So we want to have some roadmap, and it tells us everything. Welcome email, account setup, documentation, first day, welcome meeting, introducing the tools and systems, role clarification, initial training, then first week, detailed role training, shadowing sessions. Very good, right? This is very smart training approach where with current team members to observe day-to-day operations and best practices, system familiarization, supplier introduction, right? They will be working with suppliers. So now we have the onboarding roadmap here. Second week, hands-on practice, then review and feedback, right? First performance review after 2 weeks, advanced training, project assignment, third week, fourth week, right? It really breaks this down that it's so easy now to follow this. Like, how much time would you have to spend to actually come up with all of this? It just saves so much time, and it is so smart because it really makes the transition easy for the person, right? These shadowing sessions, getting to know the systems, the team members, hands-on practice, it really accounts for the whole first month, how to get this employee up to speed as efficiently as possible. It's perfect. And the last one is probably my favorite one. People don't want to spend time creating procedures, right? Instructions. It takes so much time to do that, keep it updated, and how we can go around this. Once again, we will use the AI. What we will do is that we will record ourselves performing the task because, of course, we will be delegating it. So likely we are doing it right now. So let's say you manage your own supply chain. So the one thing you would do is to record a walkthrough video where you just explain what you are doing while doing it. So you don't really spend the extra time because you are doing it at the same time, right? You are getting the task done and just explaining, okay, I'm going to do here. This is why I do this. Just narration. Then we download the transcript and we have the walkthrough transcript and ask the AI to prepare the instructions. And the instruction will consist of 2 parts: standard operating procedure, right? A document, and then a task checklist, right? Because ideally we have some task management software where we don't have all of the explanations, right? All of the step-by-step and pictures. We just have a checklist. So I actually will use a transcript of one of my previous videos about the hiring process, right? I have this full video where I break down the full process. It's like an hour-long video where I explain everything in detail. And let's see how the AI will actually turn that into an SOP and a task checklist. And this document is a transcript of 1 hour long video, right? So it's a lot of data. Once again, we explain the business model, and our prompt is that we have this walkthrough transcript and we want to create a procedure and a task checklist. So let's take a look. We have a title, hiring process for Amazon FBA private label business. Objective is to systematically and effectively hire the right team members at affordable rates to help scale the Amazon business, right? And then all of the steps: defining role, creating job ad, sourcing candidates, screening candidates, evaluating them. It does everything. So my SOP is done, right? I can ask the AI, add more detail, make it shorter, add more steps, right? We can create what we need, right? That's based on the experience of the candidate. So if you're a highly experienced candidate, this would be enough, right? It is basically just a simple checklist to make sure we don't forget anything. And then it even creates the task, right? So I have planning phase, job advertisement, sourcing, screening. So this would go, for example, to ClickUp or Asana, right? So I can then click, go one by one, perform these steps, and now I have task checklist. So every time I hire someone, I will have a nice task template for that. And that's pretty much it for this particular process. I will share all of these, we have it down here. I will share all of these prompts down below this video so you can download it. I know we kind of went through it quite quickly, so you can just copy it, prepare your own. And I also recommend you to watch the interview. I will now link it on the screen with Michael. He actually used AI to make a hire. He's a 7-figure seller, and he hired an executive assistant, and he really describes the whole process of using AI to help you make the decision, to clarify the role, and everything we've covered today. And that's pretty much it for today. So I will see you next week. Bye.